Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Max and Juan cast. Max, it's that time.
Yes,
It's that time.
it's your time to shine, Juan. Mess it up, baby. Who we going with, Juan?
Monty
What pick?
Rice.
Hold on. Before you guys even say it, before we even get into the hellos and highs, just comment what pick you think Juan's gonna mess this whole thing up.
I hate you so much. You know what? I let Max take most of the reins on this one. You know, I'm not gonna be surprised. I'm not gonna be surprised if we get some picks wrong this year because I'm gonna be leaning on him a little bit more, but we'll see what happens, man. Look, obviously you guys clicked on the video, you guys seen it. Mock Draft 1.0, our annual 1-year mock. We're not a channel that does.
Bro, call this thing Only 0.0. That's it. That's our claim to fame. Only 0.0. Not
one and done, dog.
Just, you know what we should do next year? We should do a 2026 mock the day after the draft's over.
Oh, you love
just
those.
That's 1.0. Yeah, it's like it's like right after. It's like, all right, now let's do the 2026 one, and then we'll do one like right before the draft.
No, look,
those are only two.
More kudos to people who do seven round mocks. You know, 3-round mocks. Those are.
If this video gets 1,000 likes, we'll go on Wednesday. And
hey, you know what?
Mock.
If it gets 1,000 likes, we'll do a 7-round mock. I don't care.
If the video gets 1,000 likes, I'll retire.
Yeah, I doubt
I'll
it.
retire.
but look. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to our mock draft. Look, I just want to make this very clear. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new to the channel, all right? Like the video, comment down below. What do you guys think? You know, comment down your mock draft. Comment, you know, some of your best picks. Where do you guys think some guys are going to go? All that good stuff. All right. Look, I want to make this very, very clear. We are trying to make the picks right this year, okay? We're trying to guess what's going to happen. That's how we're doing this mock. This is not, I want to make this clear.
That's what I'm doing.
This is not what we will do.
I don't know.
As the GM, okay? We wouldn't pick these guys in these places. You guys, if you guys are at this video, you guys probably seen a lot of our rankings for these prospects. We feel a lot differently than the consensus do out there, okay? So this is not what we will do. This is what we think is going to happen. We're going to see how many picks we get right. This is something to follow along with on draft day. Because if you guys don't know, on draft day, April 24th, we will be live. All right? Live reactions, raw analysis, live analysis, all that good stuff. Last year, me and Max were going back and forth with bets to see who was getting the pick right. Okay? So hopefully our mock draft can go 32 for 32 and we'll claim our way to fame. That'll be absolutely nuts. I doubt anyone has ever done that. So we shall be the first. All right. Confidence level, Max. 1 to 10.
And we'll also fill out our perfect bracket next year. So stay tuned, guys.
Our perfect bracket.
Stay tuned.
Confidence 1 to 10.
10.
All right. I'm going 11. So selling a short. All right. Let's get let's get into
cap.
All right. So we're going to be doing it off PFF. We've seen a lot of people do it off that. It's probably the easiest thing. All right, so hopefully you guys can, you know, make do with this screen that we got going on right here. So, Max, you got the first pick.
People do it. Come on, let's go. Yeah, Tennessee Titans are on the clock. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. I can't do the sound effect for the draft. This is going to be a quick one. Sorry. Let me take 10 minutes to explain it because the NFL makes me. Let's see. We need a quarterback.
I already picked their Max.
Cam Ward, guys.
Cam Ward.
Let's go. Let's spend. How many minutes do you think are going to come off the clock?
The whole thing. They'll use the whole clock. They'll take some calls.
Remember in like 2014 when they take like 2 minutes and they'd be like, all right, let's just place it. We know.
Well, now it's not even commercial free. It's not even commercial free no more. So many commercials.
I know.
That's why watch the Max and Juan cast, bro. Watch MJC Sports. Come along. We'll get the picks for you on Twitter. Not no bullshit freaking commercials over here.
Let's tell every sad story we can. No, back to the pick real quick. Cam Ward, clear, obvious best quarterback. They desperately need a quarterback. Their coach is on the hot seat. Cam Ward, I don't think you have an issue with this pick, right? You see it.
Cam Ward
on the wall.
Yeah.
Who's his 5 best receivers in the NFL? It's like Traylon Burks. Calvin Ridley, all the
Westbrook,
Titan guys.
Keenan Westbrook.
Yeah,
Shout out to my boy
yeah.
Fantasy.
And then he's
All
like Jamar Chase.
All right, let's move on to the Cleveland Browns. Let's go Abdul Carter. All right.
This is where one gets it wrong. This is where one's going to get it wrong.
I know. We might. This might be Travis Hunter, but look, I truly think Abdul Carter is labeled as the best player in this draft. And I think one of the big things that the Cleveland Browns are going to get is a lot of calls. I think a lot of teams are going to try to trade up for this pick to get Abdul Carter. And they're going to be like, hey, let's just get him. Let's have the dynamic duo with Garrett and Abdul Carter. You know, the Travis Hunter thing is good. Yeah, but we need more than that. We need more than Travis Hunter. I think Abdul Carter makes a bigger impact with the Myles Garrett pairing more than a Travis Hunter, as good as Travis Hunter is. What do you think, Max?
What do the Eagles have to give up to move up from 32 to 2?
Oh my goodness. 2 first rounders. That's 2 first rounders.
Two.
And that and a player.
Like 5.
AJ Brown, fuck it. Give him AJ.
No, I think Abdul Carter would be a good thing. You just made 2 game records on both sides, and arguably the best pass rushing duo in the NFL.
Yeah,
arguably.
Yeah,
I would go with Abdul Carter. If you're gonna go with Abdul Carter, you're not gonna hear a lot of crap from me for this one time.
Yeah, so I'm already gonna pick at 3. I think that's the domino right there for you, Max. Travis Hunter, correct?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Travis Hunter at 3. This is pretty self-explanatory. I really don't even see where else you could go with this pick. You don't really need edge help. You know, if the Browns took Travis, yeah, you go with Abdul Carter, BPA. Mason Graham, I think, would be maybe a little fun. Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns. He kind of looks nasty, but Travis Hunter fills 2 holes potentially. Great receiver, good cornerback, tons of upside. Won a Heisman in New York, keep him there. Big market will love him. And one thing I will say, he's got a good personality for New York. He's not like I'm gonna get obsessed with the lights. I'm not gonna just forget to work hard and just want to be about the glamour. No, he's a hard worker. So Travis Hunter 3. I think we're 3 for 3 right now.
Yeah, and I just want to say another thing with Travis Hunter is the same aspect with Myles Garrett. You know, pairing that duo. They got Malik Neighbors, so you'll have Malik and Travis Hunter. You know, kind of doubling down your chips, you know, improving a position group even more, making it a very good strength on your team, man. So
giving Russ some ingredients to cook with.
Giving Russ some ingredients, man. Maybe giving the defense a little something to cook with too.
Yeah, too. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. All right. 4. This is where things get shaky. Okay. This is where things get very shaky. I got the Patriots on the clock, and you know how we feel about Will Campbell. If you guys haven't watched our prospect videos, we're not big fans of Will Campbell at 4.
Absolutely hate him. He's the 3rd round
at
pick.
4. We just don't like him at 4.
Yeah.
We just don't.
Correct. Yeah. I think we're in the minority of people because for so long it's just pencil this guy in. He's the blindside protector. He's not. You're gonna take a guy who's never played guard and shift him to guard at 4. You're out of your mind. Yeah. You're out of your mind.
I just look
out of your mind.
He's a good player. You know, I think he's going to go in the first round, obviously. He's my number 1 offensive lineman. I just think he needs to be playing guard. Now, a guy that I feel like the Patriots are going to love more, and I think it's going to catch people by surprise because this is a guy getting talked about like at 6 for the Raiders. I'm going to go with M'Boom. I think M'Boom's going to be the pick here, and I think people are going to be quite shocked here, but it's not going to be shocking to me. I think M'Boom is a better pass blocker, number 1. And I think the Titans, I'm already thinking of Vrabel on the Titans still. The Patriots are going to be valuing that pass blocking ability. And I think they're going to hold in on trying to develop him as that run blocking guy. And I think he has just a better body than Will Campbell, more prototypical.
His measurables translate better than Will Campbell's to being a tackle, right? And I will say this wouldn't surprise me. There's also, you could consider Mason Graham here because, Vrabel's a defensive guy. Christian Barmore's got the lung stuff. But I'm with you in thinking if this was me, and I know we're trying to do what they think, I also just happen to agree with it. you got to protect Drake May after last year. It was atrocious watching him run for his life 8 weeks straight.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on. I like this pick more than Will Campbell here.
Yeah.
I don't think you take a guard who's never played guard at 4.
I think in a perfect world, we'll think about doing some trades in here. Maybe if we see a trade on the line that makes a lot of sense, we'll do it. But I do think the Patriots are going to get a lot of phone calls, and I think in a perfect world they will love to trade down and get a
I would
guy
agree.
like Mambu or Campbell. Just a tackle in
But
general.
the only question would be who's coming up, right? And
Right.
I guess it would be you're thinking let's jump Jacksonville and get Mason Graham. What if the Raiders are like, yo, we would really love to get a dominant D tackle with. We have Malcolm Koonce coming back. We have one of the best pass rushers in football. We have another good D tackle. Maybe that's something you consider.
Because
look, like here, take a 3rd round pick. Let us move up, get Mason Graham, and we're all good.
Well, Mason Graham is one of the guys, but I think another guy that a lot of people are underestimating, and it could be a possibility, is jumping the Raiders for Ashton Genty. Maybe a team that believes in him that much, and it could be crazy. But
who's coming up though? That's my question. Who's coming up? The Bears?
Maybe the Bears. Yeah, maybe the Bears.
Because in my mind, the Saints aren't doing it with Kamara. The Jets aren't going to do it with Breece Hall. The Panthers ain't going to do it with Chuba. So I just don't see it. And the Cowboys would be insane to jump to the top 4 for.
They don't move at all. I feel like
no. Oh, no, we had this discussion when I was talking. We kind of had some preliminary talks before we decided let's just do it because we're never going to agree.
Yeah.
But look, I'll say this. If the Patriots don't pick Mason Graham, he's not making it past 5. So with the Jaguars pick, the 5th pick in the 2025 NFL draft, I'm going to go Mason Graham for the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Look, I think the concerns about his frame and arms are overblown. He's a dynamic athlete. I think he's a rare athlete for the position one. The way he's able to move so fluidly, the technique is outstanding. The strength is really good. They already have 2 good pass rushers in Trayvon Walker, Josh Hines-Allen. Add him in the middle. They haven't had a good D tackle since Calais. They really haven't. And I think this is a great move to help them. I know they got Liam Cohn. They have Trevor Lawrence, but I think Trevor Lawrence has enough to win with.
Yeah.
I think he can be good without having we need another tackle. We need a guard and blah, blah, blah. And I guess you could make the case, hey, maybe Will Campbell comes off the board here. But in my mind, I'm going Mason Graham on all day.
Yeah. And I think all the other, position groups as far as like the skill positions, wide receiver, which they need, tight end, which they need. It's just too rich right
Way
here.
Too early for a tight end. Yeah. I mean, if we not learned, and I have something I'm going to save for a little later one until we kind of move out of the top 10 picks. But now, I mean, as fate would have it, Juan, you're picking for that team in the desert, that silver and black team. How are you going to ruin this draft? Come on.
Will Campbell at 6. No.
No. Who would be?
Wouldn't that be so ironic, though? Wouldn't that be funny?
Oh, dude, I will say a prayer, dear Lord, on Easter Sunday. Can you please let the Raiders pick Shamar Stewart so I can watch my co-host just quit the show? God, please.
Look, I think everyone is leaning towards this pick, and the way that I think about it is Pete Carroll is going to want to run the football. He had Marshawn Lynch. He wants
I know where
to help.
You're going, Juan.
He wants to help out Geno Smith with a good run game. And look, I think especially if we get this pick right, they're going to feel a lot more highly about the offensive line than I do. We'll see what happens. I still think there needs to be improvements with the team in general. I would love a defensive player here. I wish Mason Graham was here. I think if Mason Graham's on the board, it's the pick for the Raiders. No doubt over Ashton Genty. But Ashton Genty's a blue chip player in a lot of people's eyes. He's arguably the second best player in this draft, depending on how you feel about other guys. And, he's a difference maker. And we'll see what happens. I'm predicting that the Raiders are going to draft Ashton Genty, especially if the board goes like this and how we're doing it.
I'm cringing. And it's not that I hate the pick. I just think there's better alternatives to it, Juan. Let me ask you this. Give me your next 2 prospects of who you would take who's available, who you would take if it's not Ashton Genty.
I would love Will Johnson. I know he has the injury
Okay,
concerns. I would pick Will
and
Johnson.
who else would you take? Let's say take someone else on offense. Who would you take on offense? Tet?
No,
Shake Tet?
I would
You
probably
want to take
pick
him?
I this is a kind of a hot take. I know people look at that we have Bowers. I would love to get Tyler Warren. I have that double tight end duo. I think it'll be pretty cool to see.
Guys, he's just losing credibility. I was trying to help him out,
I'm just saying,
but here,
Tyler Warren.
let me make my point. My
You said
point
on
was this.
offense.
I agree. I agree. I mean, you could have just taken anyone else, like maybe a tackle, whatever. Here's my point. Here's my point was going to be: would you rather have Will Johnson and Quinshon Judkins or Tyler Warren and Quinshon Judkins? Wouldn't you rather have that? Like you
That's
guys are
assuming
picking
that we
high in
get
the
him in the
second
second.
round. I would assume. I would think he'd be there, Quinshon Judkins in
Yeah.
the second round.
Yeah, absolutely right.
See that's my only pushback on this pick of Genty, which he's a great player. This is a little early for me, especially for a running back.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that's an alternative. And so knowing that alternative, does it change your mind, or you're still kind of let's just get Genty?
Look, I wouldn't pick Ashton Genty. I'm just telling you that right now. I'm not picking Ashton Genty. I'm picking Will Johnson. If I'm the Raiders, I'm the GM. I'm picking Will Johnson. Tyler Warren.
That's what I wanted to get to. Okay.
In a cool world, I think it'll be an interesting pick to pick Tyler Warren. Would I pull the trigger? No. I'm picking Will Johnson, and if Will Johnson's not on the clock, on the board, I'm picking Mason Graham. Those are the two best players I feel like in that area that we can get.
But like you said, we are trying to do this based off what we think
Right.
will happen. So just what kind of leads, just based on what Pete Carroll's comments, that you're gonna that's what leads you to believe that?
It's not really based off the comments. I just think it's gonna help out Geno Smith. I think at the end of the day, like you're trying to help out the offense. We need difference makers. We don't really have anyone but Brock Bowers. Jacoby Myers.
I would say though, with Ashton Genty, and I don't think your O-line's that bad, right? Like,
It's
healthy,
not.
they're not. It's not like the Giants with Saquon,
No,
right? It's not.
no.
It's so I would think you guys would be able to like.
But
he's
I
not
do
going
think-
into a horrible situation, right? Like if Ashton went to the Browns, they'd be like, "Oh no, this isn't."
And if you watched our prospect video, it's not really like the player I hate. It's just it's the position that you're picking him in and the money that you're paying the guy. In the top 10, the salaries are different. And it doesn't matter what position you are. When you pick a guy outside the top 10, it considers some of those position salaries due depending on who you pick. So if you're paying a guy like Ashton Genty top dollar money, number 6 overall money, and he's a running back, he's going to be substantially higher than a lot of the regular running backs in the league. He's going to be making top dollar. And to me, you want a premier position in the top 10. You want to pick a guy at one of those premium spots in the NFL. Corner,
you want an
tackle,
edge, yeah,
quarterback.
absolutely.
You know?
Hey, you could, and at 6, and the Raiders are going to have their choice of prospects. You can basically get like a pretty much a premier prospect in any position, right?
And Ashton Genty's, amazing prospect. He's great. He's a blue chipper for Max. If he winds up doing good, hey, it's just like the Jahmyr Gibbs thing. No one's gonna give a damn where you picked him. He's gonna be great, and everyone's
absolutely. We both were critical of that pick at the time, and now we're both like, oh,
yeah. But that was outside the top 10. Again, that was outside the top 10. Big difference.
And I will say this one: the reason we're spending too much time on the Raiders pick. Of course we are. No, my point, what I was going to make earlier is in this draft specifically, I'd almost rather be picking between 10 and 15 than at 6. Because we talked about this kind of before. In our big boards, we're going to put them out, or you're going to be able to look at them during the draft. I only have 7 guys with a top 10 grade. So that means someone's going to get picked early. And maybe it's Ashton Genty, maybe it's Tyler Warren, for all sakes and purposes.
Right.
So right now the official pick is Ashton Genty. I like it. I'm going with it. I'm gonna move on to the Jets. Unless you have anything else to say about the
go
Raiders.
ahead. Who are the Jets picking at 7? We got a lot of guys on the board. We got a lot of.
This is a tricky pick to guess because man, you think Aaron Glenn, you're like, let's go get a pass rusher. Let's get another corner. They lost who's their corner? DJ Reed to the Lions, right?
Yes,
you went to the Lions?
Yeah.
To me, it's scary, but I thought about who was on Detroit, big pass rusher. I don't think of Mike Green's really their cup of tea. I think it's too early for Shamar Stewart. Maybe it's if Will Johnson had a clean bill of health, take him right now.
Yeah.
Run the pickup.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do something to help out Justin Fields. And not only that, help out the run game by picking Tyler Warren. I think Tyler Warren's the pick. He helps out on multiple fronts with the run game, pass game, giving Justin Fields a position to succeed, which is important. Because they just don't have to make the playoffs next year for the season to be a success in my mind. They just have to be functional. And if they go 8-9-1, are you think Jet fans will be like, oh, yeah, we're moving this in the right direction? We're building.
Yeah.
Because last year was just horrible vibes. The last 2 years have been horrible vibes every week.
As of right now, it's a lot of chalk on our mock draft. So hopefully we get them right. But you do know that there's going to be somebody that's going to be like the wow pick. I don't know. I got the
Not
Panthers.
Michael Penix, wow, but somebody will
maybe. I mean, Shador's probably the guy.
Or what if the Panthers were like, let's take Jalen Walker? Me and you were like, that's not what we would do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the Panthers are on the board. You're picking. What do we think?
I thought about a lot of guys. Obviously in a perfect world, they will love Mason Graham here. I think he's, perfect for them. They're obviously a trade candidate. Maybe they would trade up with the Patriots to go get Mason Graham, jump ahead of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I thought about a guy like Walter Nolan, a pass rusher like Jalen Walker.
I love him, and that's early one.
Yeah, I've seen some mock drafts. I've seen some mock drafts with him going pretty damn early, especially with the need that they want, because they wanted a guy like Milton Williams really bad, and they lost out on him. So it's an obvious need.
Him.
Yeah, it's an obvious need. But in the aftermath of things, I went with Ted McMillan. They need a wide receiver, and I think. What's his name is cool, the raccoon eating guy. I'm forgetting his name.
Xavier Legette.
Xavier Legette, my country boy. He's solid. He's solid. I like Xavier Legette, but I like him as a 2 guy. And I think Ted McMillan.
This is more help for Bryce Young.
Yeah.
A lot more help for Bryce Young.
I think Ted McMillan goes here. You got Adam Thielen, who's on his last leg. He's been solid for them. He's been a great wide receiver as far as veteran help and putting up some touchdowns. But I think he can help out a guy like Ted McMillan being there, and really take him under his wing and, pass along the keys to these young receivers in Legette and McMillan. Help out Bryce Young. I think the line is good enough. I don't think Will Campbell's warranted to pick here. Right now, Will Campbell's falling. I don't think that's surprising at all. I think he is going to fall. And that comes to number 9 for you, Max, with the Saints. What are you thinking for the Saints?
Well, obviously, we had major news in the last 3 weeks, or couple weeks, I would say. Derek Carr might miss the whole year. I don't know if this is going to happen. This is a scary pick. I'm going to go Shedeur Sanders. You just take this is maybe a little early, even in my case, for him. Because if it's not here, it's maybe a 21 to the Steelers. But I'm confident take Shedeur here. I don't think New Orleans is this talent starving team, right? Like, we have Olave who's good. We have Shaheed who's good. We have Juwan Johnson. We have Kamara. We have a not a bad O-line one, right? We got Fuanga. I know we have a big hole at right tackle with what's his name, retiring Ryan Ramczyk. Yeah. So maybe we keep Will Campbell in-house, right? Maybe we keep him in the state. But we haven't had a quarterback since Drew Brees. Let's at least know who we're gonna start next year, right? It's not just about having Drew Brees. If they had the same guy for 2 straight off seasons in a row, where we were like, oh, we're confident in him, right? We're really
supposed to be Derek Carr this year. But and you're not confident, and he's not
at all.
He's not gonna play.
Not at all.
I don't think he's gonna play, man. So look, I think it's Shedeur Sanders here as well.
Yeah,
I like it.
Okay.
I think it's just glaring, man, and I like the spot for him. I do. I like the spot as far as like the city goes. I think he'll fall under the radar in New Orleans. It's a team that's not going to be
real talk. The Shedeur hates too much now. The narrative shifted on a guy like I've never seen. This is on par with Justin Fields won. As good as Justin Fields was that final year at Ohio State, nothing positive was said about him after the combine. It felt like.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening to Shedeur.
Yeah, and I think Kellen Moore can do some stuff with Shedeur. I don't know if he said that. I think I heard you say that. But
no, I didn't. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore just, coached a guy who's not the most physically gifted quarterback in the world, doesn't have the rocket arm, right?
And what does he have, Max?
Good decision.
Yep.
Good decision.
Processing, decision, accuracy,
yes,
all of that. Sounds like
I would say
Shedeur.
Shedeur's got better accuracy than Jalen Hurts did at this point. Year one, it's light years away.
A
in
guy
my
like
mind.
Dak Prescott too. He worked with him. So
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, I like the pick. I like the pick with Shador
I talked
Sanders.
myself into this one for sure.
All
I
right,
talked myself into it.
let's go to Chicago at 10. And honestly,
I
Max,
feel like you stole Genty from them. Genty would be there. They would
yeah.
run that pick up the board because they
And
can afford it.
you know, as we were making the pick for Shador, I was looking at the Bears and I was like, Amari and Hampton, like this is it. This is the pick. But I'm gonna break the rules a little bit, and I think they trade down. I think the Bears trade down here, and I want to make the trade with the Arizona Cardinals. I think the Cardinals
Wow.
come up because there's a lot of edges still on the board. There's only been one edge picked so far. You got Jalen Walker on the board. You got Mike Green. You got Shamar Stewart. You got a bunch
Nick
of
Scotton.
guys. And
Yeah.
I think this is where the draft wows some guys. And I think, what's his name? The defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon for the Eagles once upon a time. He's going to love a guy like Jalen Walker. And I think Jalen Walker's the pick right here. I really do think so. What do you think about that pick, Max?
I like I don't necessarily, obviously in my heart, I'm like, it's way too early, but the logic you used is sound. I love the trade down. This is where Juan's growing, guys. 2 years ago, he's running up Amari Hampton. I'm like, he's not a top 10 pick. Please don't do it, Juan. Please stop. Don't ruin my draft. But no, I love the trade down. Obviously, it could be a different team, right? Maybe it's the Bengals. Maybe the Bengals want to come up for an edge. Whatever it is, I love the logic because the 49ers are a prime team, and you move in front of the Niners as well. That's a great thing because we know the Niners are in the edge market. We know they're feeling some edges. I love it, Juan. Great job. I'm impressed. And I will say this on the Bears side. They can kind of afford to fall down and just get some later round picks because I don't think they're in the offensive line market at all. They corrected that need in free agency.
Yeah, because I
If
do
you can
think
fall to 16 and still get your guy and add some picks in the chamber, that's what great GMs do, Juan. It's not always about, oh, man, we took him on Hampton at 10. Well, what if you could take him at 10 and add a third?
yeah.
That's the name of the game. It's and the game within the game of the draft where, and we talked about this. I used to be really into just trades. And one would be like, I'm just going to take the guy wherever. It doesn't matter. And as you mature and get older, you learn more. And it's like, hey, we got to play the draft game.
Right. Yeah. You got to get the value. You got to get the value. And, I was looking at another team.
You hurt the Niners.
Yeah. And I think the Niners need an edge bad. They don't have another edge next to Bosa. So they were probably licking their chops and like, oh, Jalen Walker's right there. Maybe it's not going to be Jalen Walker. Maybe I'm wrong on the edge that's going to be there. But I do see a team. Maybe it's not the Cardinals, but I do see a team trading with the Bears in that spot. I think that's the trade spot right there.
I mean, I could see the Falcons. I could see the Colts. What if the Chargers want to get really aggressive and just come up for a defensive player? Yeah. I will say this. Now that you've taken Jalen Walker off the board, I think the Niners are going to go one of two ways. I think the Niners are going to go O-line or they're going to go edge. And if Will Campbell's sitting there, he's not my favorite cup of tea, but I think that's pretty good value for him to fall to 11.
Yeah.
To me, he's more of a mid-round guy, but consensus-wise, a lot of people mock him to 4. You get him at 11. I like it. They're in a zone scheme. The arm lane's going to be mitigated, especially at guard. He's great in space. He's a hell of an athlete. Plug him at left guard.
Yeah.
Support Kyle.
And I love the value here.
Tackle when Trent Williams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Trent Williams, when he retires next year, you can plug him in left tackle, let him learn a few tricks of the trade. Trent Williams isn't the longest guy in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like you said, Trent Williams getting old in the tooth there. So, worst case scenario, play him at guard this year. And, you go about it like that. You let him play tackle next year.
Help get that run game going again.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
Absolutely.
I like it a lot. And Will Campbell fell all the way to 11, which is not that bad. I think it'll be a blessing in disguise. It'll be a 49er instead of a New England Patriot, man. I don't think anyone will be complaining about that. Okay, so we got a couple guys on the board. We got the Cowboys up next. I know a couple people are going to be going to the timestamp with the Cowboys. I'm talking to Dak right now. I'm talking to Ahmad. He's probably seeing who we're going to comp to the Dallas Cowboys. So we got Jahdae Barron on the board. We got Walter Nolan, Malachi Starks. But what I'm thinking, Max, I'm thinking offensive line. Zach Martin just retired,
Yep.
and
That's
I don't think anyone here is gonna be warranted of a pick besides offensive lineman. Like
so
Jahdae
no
Barron,
Matthew Golden, Luther Burden
no.
too early for these
No,
guys.
I think it's a little bit too early. I think they're gonna go on the safe side. Dallas tends to play it safe when they're high in the draft like this. You know, they're a top 15 pick. They usually hit on these guys. And I think they're gonna wind up hitting with this one with Kelvin Banks. I like the
Oh, I love that. I love
yeah,
it.
I like the range for
Their
him.
head coach is a run game guy. This helps the run game. They haven't been able to run the ball in 3 years.
Yeah.
Now
And
your O-line, if Guyton can take a leap, you have Tyler Smith add another all-pro guard potentially to pass the mantle. I love it. I interrupted you. Continue. I'm sorry.
no, yeah, and then you kind of see a little mini run right here with the tackles. You seen Will Campbell get picked, and they're like, "Oh shit, let's get a tackle. Let's get one before they run out. Let's get our guy. Let's get Kelvin Banks, who is a solid player." And same thing, like play him at guard this year. If you need to play him at guard, try him out at tackle, whatever. I think he'll be a good pick right here. I know a lot of people are probably going to be wanting Will Johnson, maybe a Jahdae Barron, but at the end of the day, you got Trayvon Diggs still. You got Deron Bland. You got a couple solid guys. They have a need at nickel corner, but you're not going to pick a nickel corner in the first round. So you can get a guy like Jacob Parrish maybe in the
Not
second or
necessarily.
third. So because I know they
Yeah.
lost out on Jordan Lewis to the Jags this year.
Yeah, he went to the Jags. Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
So I like
I
Kelvin
like what
Banks
you
right
did.
here. So
I like what you did.
Dolphins on the clock for you.
Dolphins are on the clock for my cousin Koch having a baby. Congratulations. Gosh, this is such a weird team to think what they're going to do. It's never like what you want them to take. Like they could use an offensive lineman. They could use Shahad Campbell would be really nice for them. When was the last time they had a good linebacker? But with the writing on the wall of Jalen Ramsey, who took a step back last year as he's getting a little bit long in the tooth, talking about trading him to a contender, let's just go get Will Johnson. The Miami Dolphins have always shown a propensity to not care about medicals. Jalen Phillips was a big risk. He's panned out when he's been healthy. I'm going to go Will Johnson, get a corner they desperately need. And ever since they lost Xavier Howard it's been kind of bare out there. And they've taken some swings and they've missed. I like Will Johnson here. You get an alpha corner at 12 or 13, excuse me. Sign me up. Sign me up.
I'm sprinting to the board and I'm picking Will Johnson if I'm the Dolphins. I love him. If the medicals check out, he's a slam dunk cornerback one.
Last year in the first round. Oh, they picked the edge rusher Chop.
Yeah, Chop Robinson.
Continue to build that defense. And we've talked about their defense being too soft. You have to add some attitude and some toughness.
Yeah, and he's a playmaker. He's a great player, man. And Jalen Ramsey on his way out. They're looking to trade him right now. Maybe they'll cut him due to the money. Well, who knows? Maybe they'll move him to safety, I heard. So, you got to get a cornerback in there. They have no cornerback too. You got to get a corner in there. I love the Will Johnson pick for the Miami Dolphins. All right, so we got the Colts on the clock. Got a lot of players on the board, man. And I think this is a no-brainer. I know they picked Latu last year, but I think they
double dip.
I think they double dip. I think it's a no-brainer. I think they get Mike Green. I think the fact that Mike Green fell all the way to 14, maybe due to the off-field concerns, that's really what stopped me from picking up from these other teams. I feel like other teams will be kind of scared to get the guy depending on, how he graded out as far as off the field thing, maybe a couple of research, talk to some people they didn't feel comfortable. Irsay, I think he's going to feel comfortable with all that being said. I don't think he's going to have a problem with it. I think the Colts are going to draft him. Lou Amaruno is the new defensive coordinator. He's going to want a defensive end, get two of them. Latu seeming like more of a number two, very solid number two edge rusher. And you can get Mike Green, your alpha guy that has a lot of upside. Okay. And a lot of people are very high on Mike Green. I think it's a blessing in disguise that he went to 14. Like, he's going to be a great spot in Indianapolis.
And I think Chris Ballard has shown a propensity to take BPA at times.
Yeah.
It's not always about the need. I like this pick. Other than that, maybe a Colston Loveland to help out Anthony Richardson. But to be honest, to me, their team doesn't like. What else can they really do? Colston Loveland, I don't think Anthony Richardson needs Colston Loveland to succeed or fail, right? Like, I don't think he moves the arrow in that regard, right? It's not like you're like, dude, we need a number one receiver so badly and we just don't do it, right?
Right.
I think I like this pick. I like the help getting the defense. Their defense needs pass rush. We've been complaining about this for almost 6 years. And another defense who could use pass rush is the Atlanta Falcons. This is a tricky pick. Last year they were the shock of the first round when they took Michael Penix. I think I'm going to go defense one. I'm looking at the big board right now. We still have Shamar Stewart. We have Savon Ravel if they need another. They could use another corner, but you know what? I think Jahad Campbell's my guy. Since they lost Deion Jones, they don't have anybody who screams out to me like, "Ooh, difference maker, difference maker." And this guy could maybe check two boxes. One, right? Situational pass rush, middle inside linebacker. I know they have the one dude who's solid. I can't think of his name right now, but this guy just kind of moves the needle for me.
It can
he's out of 15. No, and not Ika the white boy linebacker, whatever his name is.
Kendrick Ellis.
Yeah, he's solid, right? Like he's solid. This guy could be a difference maker. And if you get the next Micah Parsons, you just hit a home run. You really did.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he can be that.
It's a little early. It's a little early, but hey, if there's anyone that needs a need linebacker, it's Atlanta. You know, they struggle.
Yeah, and pass rush too. You can make, like I said, you could check two boxes.
Yeah. And you know, maybe they're trying to stay away from. They already have the light guy in Kambidi, so a lot of people are probably looking at Donovan Izaraku.
Yeah,
but he's kind of the same player. He's kind of the same guy.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, too much overlap on.
Yeah, you don't want two of the same guys.
Correct. So after that, we're at pick 15. They can still see everybody, right? We don't need to do a recap.
Yeah, they can see everybody.
Okay, perfect. Oh, so you're on the Bears again. You have the Bears at 16.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer.
Is this where you make the?
I think this is Omari and Hampton. I think this is a good spot to pick them. It's outside the top 10. It's at pick 16. I think they're gonna go running back, and he's a true difference maker. Who else
could they really go?
Yeah, like maybe Colston Loveland. You know, maybe. But I don't think.
What about a Malachi Stars? They got Brisker. Who's the other safety there? Stars could work because they got Jonathan Owens.
Yeah, but I think it's a touch too early. I think
Ben Johnson wants to run that ball. He wants to run. Come on.
Yeah, and I think he'll still have the slasher guy with DeAndre Swift. You get a potential bell cow with Omari and Hampton. He's a fantastic player. I don't see a scenario where he comes out of the first round like not picked. I think he's going to get picked by some team, and why not the Bears?
It's a touch early in my mind. It's a touch early, but it's way better at 16 than 10.
Yes.
So I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Yeah. All right, you got the Bengals on the clock for you. Who you thinking?
Got the Bengals. This to me is a prime team for defense.
There's a lot of edges on the board, Max.
There is, but they could also use some safety help. I think that's the big question. I mean, look, I will say this one. They have to get defense. The offense didn't let them down last year. It was the defense, not being able to get the ball back to Joe Burrow just to get gashed. And I think the more important thing to me, I love Malachi Starks here. He could fill the Jesse Bates role. I'm so tempted to take him. I'm gonna go edge. I'm gonna go somebody I love, somebody who already looks good in orange. James Pierce. I know it might be a hair early, and especially if the character concerns. Look, if the character concerns aren't there, don't pick him. I'm sorry, I messed this whole draft up. This was on me. This 1 year, it's me. But this is a guy. Miles Murphy's not getting it done, and especially if Trey Hendrickson's on his way out. They're gonna be over a barrel. So I'm gonna go James Pierce right here for the Cincinnati Bengals.
I think it's the right pick. I do because he's a pretty good player, man. I think he's gonna go pretty early.
I'd rather have him than Shamar Stewart. You know,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
But
I just can't do it with Shamar.
Yeah, but then again, we're we might be wrong on this one, but I think you're going to the right direction. Like I think if James Pierce is on the clock at 17, you pick him. It's BPA. It's a need.
Yeah. And if they take Malachi Stars, I'm like, I totally get it. Totally.
And they don't have anyone on the other side of Hendrickson. They don't. They have Sam Hubbard retired.
And like I said, they might not even have Hendrickson.
Yeah.
It's just too big of a need, and it's too valuable a position.
Yeah. All right.
So you're
So
picking for the Seahawks.
yeah, Seahawks on the clock. You're talking about Malachi Starks. I'm going with Malachi Starks here. And
Really?
yes, I think I love him for the McDonald defense. Where does McDonald come from? Comes from Baltimore. Who did they have in Baltimore? Kyle Hamilton. Okay. I'm not saying that Malachi Starks is exactly like Kyle Hamilton. I think Kyle Hamilton is a touch more talented, especially in the athleticism range. But Malachi Starks
Instincts.
he can
Instincts
and
one.
he can play the
Instincts.
same role. He can play the same role as Kyle Hamilton, where he can be all over the field. He's versatile. I think the Seahawks are going to value a guy like Starks. McDonald wants to get his identity in there. He wants to get his defensive guys in there. The offense is cool. They paid Sam Darnold. They got the offense with Jackson Smith and Jigba. They got Kenneth Walker. I don't think they're going to touch offense. A lot of people are maybe going, oh, Marcus Golden or Matthew Golden, excuse me.
Maybe a guard. Maybe you build up the offensive line.
Maybe, but I think he's going to favor the defense here. I might be wrong about Starks as far as him being the pick, but I think they go defense in this draft. I think that's what
I think a lot of people would say Nick Emanwuri, but I would go Starks all day. I don't even think it's close. You know how we feel.
Yeah, the versatility with Starks, I think McDonald's going to value that. All right. You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the clock, Max. This is a tough one. I don't even know what to really think. What are you thinking for the?
I think. Well, there's a lot of different ways we could go. We could definitely use a DB. We could use a pass rusher. But I'm going to take a play out of your book. I'm going to change the pick. I'm going to trade it. I'm going to trade it to my second favorite team, which is the San Diego Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh, the Chargers.
Jim Harbaugh is going to jump the Broncos, who I am convinced they're going to want to take Colston Loveland. Similar to what you did with the 49ers. We get to jump in front of a divisional foe, take a player he knows really well, my number one tight end. Colston Loveland's going off the board at 19.
Okay. And in a perfect world, people are going to call out this pick and be a Michigan guy, obviously a Harbaugh dude.
Yep.
And they need a tight end. It's a need. I like it. I like it.
Then, like I said, and the added benefit, you jump the Broncos, who definitely need a tight end. And Sean Payton has said, I want that joker. I want somebody who can run block, line up in the backfield, be a big receiver. Colston Loveland can do all those things. And we get to hurt them and add a great player. I love it. Yeah. So now you're with the Broncos.
All right, Broncos. I'm honestly thinking running back. I really am. I was heavily thinking Travion Henderson in this spot. But
I don't think Sean Payton would. Maybe Omari and Hampton, but when has Sean Payton ever invested resources other than Reggie Bush into a running back?
I think it's time for a receiver here. I think Matthew Golden, a guy that can catch the ball on screens. He has the speed. He has the route running. They need a guy. I don't think Cortland Sutton's the dude. They have a lot of number 3 and number 2 guys in Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims that can stretch the field. I think you put Matthew Golden in the Sean Payton offense, he's going to do amazing in it with Bo Nix.
And Sean Payton did take Chris Olave a couple years ago when he was with the Saints, if I'm not mistaken. So,
and I think Matthew Golden at 20
kind of is like that.
Matthew Golden that's a steal because I think a lot of people are predicting him to go earlier. So this scenario he falls.
It's not a steal to me because this is where I would think he would go. But for the consensus of where we've seen him go, and we talked about like he could be the first receiver off the board at 8, I think it's a great job. I think it's a great pick, and now we get to move to 21, which is who?
Steelers? Is it the Steelers?
Yeah,
Steelers.
So I have no idea, Juan. I have no idea where to go with this one. I am open to ideas. I'm going to recruit you into here because this to me would have been prime Shedeur Sanders, and I think it's too early to take Jackson Dart.
Yeah, it's
way
too early
in my mind.
Maybe I seen people getting hot takey with Jalen Milroe right here.
No,
I don't see that. Not to get the pick right. In a cool world and to be popular, maybe, but I'm looking at a lot of edges on the board, Max.
Some teams bound to move up, I would.
Yeah, because look, Michael Williams.
It just matters who.
Michael
Who is it?
Williams, Shamar Stewart. I think we should be fun. And I think the Eagles, I've heard a lot of talks over the last few days that they've been wanting to get a guy like Abdul Carter crazy enough to trade up to 4 in a scenario that if he drops the 4, which I doubt he does, but willing to trade a guy like AJ Brown. I don't think they have to trade a guy like
No.
AJ Brown to get here, but I'm cool with the
So
Eagles
the Eagles
jumping
are
up.
going to move up from 32 to 21. So that's obviously a first plus some stuff, which doesn't matter. How we'll figure that out.
Yeah. How
Well,
we
if we're
figure
coming
it
up
out.
for an edge, we're not coming up for Shamar Stewart. We're not coming up for.
I
Who
think
else
it's
is
Michael
on the-
Williams. I think
I would think, yeah, George
traded
Eagles.
guy, traded up guy. He's a Georgia guy. You know, it's kind of like
And you know, it's funny. Last year we were like, we're beating on the table the old draft. You know, Quinyon, go like every trade, right? Was Quinyon. This is for Quinyon. Eagles are moving up for Quinyon, and they sat pat and they got him. I don't think they can sit pat this year if they're going to try to get an explosive edge. I would love to be wrong and get Michael Williams at 32.
Yeah.
But one, I like your idea. I'm going to let you pick for my team. Take my pick.
I think I messed up the trading thing, but I picked them to Green Bay instead of Philly. But Michael Williams for the Eagles. Okay. Well, we'll fix that later. Okay. All right. Who's next on the clock? Who we got?
This
Bucs.
This would be the Bucs picking. This would be the Bucs. So I'm gonna jump back in. We're gonna mess up the order. This is Jahdae Barron. This is an easy one. I'm running it up to the board. Like I said last year with Cooper DeJean, if you're gonna draft this guy to just be an island corner and just line him up against the Julio Jones in their prime, whoever, AJ Green, whatever. I don't know why I can't think of it. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. There you go. It's not gonna work. But for the Bucs, you can put him at nickel. You have Jamal Dean and Zion McCollum on the outside. Put him in nickel. Let him play some strong safety. Let him just be a playmaker. Just get him a define. Let him play that Brian Branch role. Todd Bowles is an awesome DC. He would love a Brian Branch. This could be that. It's easy to me. I love this. He fell a little bit in the draft. I love where I'm getting him. The Bucs.
Yeah, I think it'll be a
Run the pick.
no-brainer. Yeah, no-brainer for Jahdae Barron right here to the Bucs. I love that pick, Max. Let's go to
The Packers, I think.
the Packers. Right? Or is it who do we got on the clock? We got Bucs, Packers, correct. We got the Packers. It says the Steelers on here, but we'll fix that. We'll give it to the Packers right now. Who are you thinking for the Packers, Max? Help me out here while I do this trading.
Yeah, no. So not a receiver, right? We're not going receiver because why do it? Why ever do something that dumb? I mean, they could use an alpha receiver one. I don't think they're going to take. They have Josh Jacobs. Could they go a lineman? We still have guys like Josh Simmons. What about a pass rusher one? Like we still have edges. We have Nick Scorton. We have Shamar Stewart. We have JT Tuliputu. We have Jack Sawyer, your boy. I would think this pick's going to be defense. The Packers, look, how many years does Preston Smith have left?
Yeah.
I don't think Lucas Van Ness is the guy.
Yeah.
I think he's more of an inside guy who can kind of play some edge. Rashawn Gary is still a stud.
And this is where it's funny. It's funny that you brought up Rashawn Gary because I'm thinking edge and I'm thinking Shamar Stewart, which is basically the ceiling.
Remember what they said about Rashawn Gary? Wasn't productive. Just all traits, freak in nature, and he turned out better than I think either of us would have thought.
Yeah, and Shamar Stewart is going to be traded up, and teams are going to fall in love with him. I think the Packers definitely get him right here, and he fell to 23. He fell a little bit lower in our draft. We'll see if he goes higher. Maybe teams like him instead of James Pierce in our mock.
If it happens, we all know why the teams picked him.
Yeah.
This guy is he is a freak.
Yeah.
He's a freak in nature, but he can't really play the position.
Yeah. And I just see Shamar Stewart going in the first. I don't think there's any world that he doesn't. Some team's going to fall in love with him, like you said.
Oh, I would think so.
Yeah. So we got the Vikings on the clock. They got not that many glaring needs. They're good at linebacker. They're good at safety. They're pretty good on defense. They got a great defensive line. They did some work in free agency with their D line. They paid Kinlaw. They paid Jonathan Allen. What are you thinking here?
I think we need a corner. I think Brian Flores, if you look back to Miami, they
I
wanted
knew
to
it.
play man.
Yeah.
Byron Murphy, he's a good man corner, but who else do they have?
Yeah.
I'm thinking corner. And to me, I want to take a guy I can see living on an island. I'm going to take Siobhan Ravel.
Yeah.
I know it's early. I know he's raw. But you know what? I also see a world last year where they took somebody who was super traits like Dallas Turner. And what did he do last year, Juan? Not much. They brought him along slowly.
Yeah.
I could see them taking a similar path to Siobhan Ravel, especially coming off injury. So I'm going to take Siobhan Ravel. We got an alpha type corner, a guy who can live on an island, big, fast,
Yeah, and
strong.
Brian Flores loves the blitz, so you want a guy that's
Absolutely.
traded up, being able to play man coverage. I think Siobhan
Absolutely.
Ravel checks all those boxes for Brian Flores.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
let's go to the Texans, okay? I think this is a no-brainer. This one didn't really take me all that long to pick. There's an offensive tackle on the board. I'm going to go with the best one available. I think it's Josh Simmons. I think he's going to be a first-round pick, no doubt. I think he's one of the best pure tackle guys that no question in mind that he's going to play tackle. He had some injuries. We'll see if the medicals check out. That's probably why he falls in this mock to some teams. He falls all the way to 25. I think if he was fully healthy, he's a top 10 to a top 15 pick this year if all the medicals check out. So they lost Laramie Tunsil. No brainer, Josh Simmons, right?
Shocking trade too. Shocking trade, and yeah, you just made up for it. You got younger, you got cheaper.
Yeah,
maybe a guy who can kind of match this Laramie Tunsil in a couple of years, and you just paying him pennies on the dollar. Love that pick one.
All right, so
I agree with you. I think he will fall with the injuries. I absolutely agree with you.
So now we have the LA Rams on the clock. Who are you thinking for the Rams, Max?
We're going defense. We are going defense, or we're going offensive line. But I think the defense is the Achilles heel of this team. I think we need to add some corner help. I know they get gashed against the run, but here's the problem: one, they can't play a lick of man. They can't play a lick. Their defense is so poor with cornerback play.
Yeah.
Last year they signed a guy in Trey White who didn't even make it through the whole year. I'm gonna go with a guy who could maybe. It's tough because I don't love the guy, but I could see them falling in love with him because he could be an awesome nickel. He could be a good outside corner. Maxwell Harrison traded up, not the biggest dude, not your 6'2" prototype, but he's 5'11". He's got decent size, but they desperately need anyone who can cover, and it gets thin. It's going to get really thin. One,
yeah,
it is.
You know for a fact that he can play zone. So at worst, the Rams love to play zone a lot. Stick him in at zone, be a playmaker. I like it. I don't, depending on how they feel about Donovan, I can't say his last name right now.
Ezraku.
There's a lot of ends.
They got Jared Verse and Braden Smith, and they have some other, and they have
Brian Young.
Brian Young. Sorry, yeah. They hit it out of the park last year with Jared Verse. So I think we got to work on the back end a little bit.
Yeah, you got to work on that back end. And they winded up picking a guy like
and Ezraku's not going to help against the run one. Maybe a Nick Scorton. Maybe Nick Scorton might help, but I don't know about
to have two Jared Verses, maybe.
Yeah.
But look, we got the Ravens on the clock here, and as much as I wanted to go Nick Scorton, because he's a Raven guy, I'm kind of torn in between him and Emeka Buka, because
tell me why Emeka. What do you like about him?
I think he just fits the Ravens. I think the character checks out. First of all, he's gonna run block his ass off.
Yes,
he's gonna fit in with the Ravens. And
someone told me today. I was talking to Big G from the Know It Alls. He goes, "You know who Emeka Buka is going to be?" I go, "Who?" He goes, "Hines Ward." I'm like, "That's really good." And if Baltimore can get that to go with the run game and be a great pass catcher, golly.
Yeah. So I'm going to go Emeka Buka as much as I want to go Nick Scorton here, because I feel like Nick Scorton will fit the Ravens pretty good. I think they go Emeka, and I think they're kind of lacking that second guy. Mark Andrews kind of let him down last year with that drop. They have Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers was banged up during most of the ending stretch. So
Rashad Bateman's, when isn't he
hot
banged
and
up?
cold. Yeah, and he's hot and cold. They need another guy. They need one. Okay. It can't just be the Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson show. I love Emeka Buka, a guy that's capable of being a solid number 2 receiver. And he just fits Baltimore. I think everything checks out as far as personality goes. The player checks out. It's time to get a receiver. Okay. He's not Zay Flowers. He's not Tet McMillan. Maybe they go a guy in Luther Burden, but Luther Burden, it's kind of like a bigger Zay Flowers.
Abuka checks the boxes for me.
Yeah.
Checks the boxes for me for them.
Yeah. So
I would agree with everything you said.
So now we got Detroit. Who does Detroit go, Max?
We got to get another pass rusher. We don't know how good Aiden Hutchinson is going to be. I'm running this pick up there. My number 3 guy, Nick Scorton. Aiden Hutchinson coming off a absolute horrific leg injury. They got Zadarius Smith late last year. He was good, but this Nick Scorton reminds me of Zadarius Smith. He's that big edge rusher who's not only good against pass, but he's good against the run. I'm going Nick Scorton. I think it's a home run for them. If they can get a guy this good this late in the first round, just great pick. And he's a good player.
Yeah.
I think
he just fits.
Perfect Detroit guy. Yeah, he just fits. Absolutely.
Fits. He's an ass whooper, bro. Okay, let's go to Washington, which Washington can go a lot of different routes, I feel like. But what I'm thinking right here, and it's a guy that I feel like just going to go in the first round, and I think this is a perfect spot for him. They lost out on a guy in Jonathan Allen, right?
Yeah.
And I think
Daron Payne's getting up there.
Daron Payne's getting up there. They drafted a guy in Johnny Newton, but I think Kenneth Grant is a good pick right here. And Kenneth Grant is for sure going to go in the first round. And they want to beef up that defensive line. I think Dan Quinn will love him. And
Dan Quinn in the past has had defensive lines we've seen not be that great against the run. Like think about the Cowboys were really good against the pass, but just got ran over.
Yeah.
Remember when they picked Mozzie Smith? We thought he could help that, and he didn't.
Yeah.
This guy, the Michigan ties.
Because if you look at,
he'll be a plus run defender day one.
Yeah, and
that's what stuff never comes. No problem.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking at. They're in a division with Saquon Barkley. You need to be able to stop the run. You need a freak like Kenneth Grant, to block shed and make those plays behind the backfield. And when you look at the edges that are left on the board, Izaraku's not going to stop Saquon Barkley. I'm sorry, he's a pure pass rusher. So I don't think he fits that mold. Landon Jackson, way too rich. Braden Swinson, a lot of these guys are way too rich. I like JT, but too early for him. It's too early for JT from Ohio State. And a guy that I feel like I would like to pick here, but I know he's not going to go in the first round most likely. Jack Sawyer. That's my personal pick, but I feel like they go Kenneth Grant just for the sake of the mock.
Here, I'm going to let you pick for the Bills so you can get your white pass rusher. Go ahead. Pick for the Bills. I'll take the Chiefs. Get Jack Sawyer right now.
Jack Sawyer right now?
No.
I don't think so.
No, I mean if you want to, but just pick just take the Bills. Take the Bills. Who are you going to take?
The Bills.
They lost Amari Cooper, right? Did they lose Amari Cooper?
Yes, they lost Amari Cooper. So I don't think they go edge. I don't think
there's an edge worth taking.
Maybe Walter Nolan, but they got Ed Oliver already.
Let's not double dip with the same exact guy. In my mind, anyway.
I mean, I'm thinking receiver. You brought up Amari Cooper. I'm thinking receiver. They had Keon Coleman last year. Didn't really catch his footing. I still got hope for Keon Coleman. I love Keon Coleman. They got Khalil Shakir. I think it's too hard to pass up on a guy like Luther Burden, man. I think Luther Burden right here at 30, great value.
I love this pick for you. I honestly wanted to see if you pick who I pick. I'm so glad you said that. You made me happy, Ron. This is my number 2 receiver, and please, Buffalo, just get more weapons. You can't have enough. You just can't.
Yeah. You got to help out Josh Allen, man. It's either that or a tackle or guard or something. Other than that, I feel like they got to go receiver. Okay, so
you say guard for the Chiefs. I'm already you said what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Gray Zabel right here.
I'm already on his name. Let's go.
Perfect. I love when stuff like that happens. But no, Gray Zabel, I mean, we just watched the Chiefs just get absolutely obliterated. They've got a tackle. They traded Joe Thuney. Let's just plug in another guard and just keep Patrick Mahomes alive. Yes, you need receiver help. There's plenty of receivers to get later in the draft, but right now we get a really good guard.
Yeah, really good guard that can play tackle in some binds. I think his home's gonna be guard though. I love Gray Zabel. I think Andy Reid's gonna have some fun with him. He's a nasty player. He's a dog. Really like Gray Zabel a lot. I like that pick. All right, so for the Eagles, sorry, we traded
We're
this
now
pick.
the Steelers.
So this is the
Yeah,
Steelers.
this is
let
the
me let me
Steelers.
fix that real quick.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's obviously for Jackson Dart, and obviously if Aaron Rodgers signs there 2 days before, like on Tuesday, this is going to throw everything off. But it doesn't matter what team it is, right? Like, let's say the Eagles are there at 32 and the Browns need a quarterback. Some team will move up to take that third quarterback one in this pick or 31 or whatever, just to get that 5th-year option. You know it, I know it, just like the Ravens did with Lamar Jackson. It might be Jackson Dart, it might be Jalen Milroe, Will Howard, whoever it is, Kyle McCord, whatever. Some teams coming up to the last pick of this round to pick a quarterback. I think we both agree on that.
Yeah, I like the pick. I think it makes sense with the 5th-year option. You got to pick a guy in the first round when it comes to quarterback, just to make sure that you get that 5th-year contract. Let me do this real quick, Max.
That you're afraid. I think Walter Nolan has a good chance to go in the first.
Izaraku's one that I'm thinking where.
But this is what we talk about, one where it's like between 20 to 60, there's so many guys. Yeah. Like there's so many guys who are like really good players that are going to fall out of the first, but like there's going to be second rounders on my big board that get taken in the 3rd round, right? Yeah. Like Quinshon Judkins is still there. Travion Henderson. What if the Steelers are like, you know what? We'll just pick Jackson Dart later. We'll just go get Travion Henderson right here.
Yeah.
Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I'm kind of looking at right now is maybe we could have went maybe 1 or 2 more linemen in the draft. Maybe like, how many do we have right here? We got
Arante, Irsay.
We got 1, 2, 3, 4.
We have 4 offensive linemen going, or 5. Sorry, 5.
So we have 5. So I can see it being easily 6 or 7. If someone can fall in love with Cornley.
It's Connerly. Yeah. I will say this too. It just matters when the run starts too. Whether it's when's the run on running back start, when's the run on receiver start. Yeah. But really these are the 2 big ones. It's edge and tackle. Yeah. We'll see how quickly those guys go. Because there's a world where Shamar Stewart ain't there at 23. The edges are gone by like 15.
Yeah.
And I think last year, how many offensive players was it in a row?
15, I believe.
14 out of the first 15 picks. Yeah, no, it was the first 14 picks, right? Because Latu was the first defender picked.
Yeah.
I think it could be almost opposite, where it's going to be a lot of defenders going in this. Yeah. Out of 32 picks, I think we'll see more defenders than offensive players.
So I bring it to this. We got 32 picks on the board, right? Be honest, how many you think we're going to get right? I think we go three at least, and we get the first 3.
I was going to say maybe I think we'll get 7 to 8 picks right. And one thing I'll say that if you go back in our mocks, it's not necessarily the right player, but it's the right position, which is always like we're kind of close.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and that's where it's hard. It's hard because after 2, after 3, really. I mean, it just depends on how the board falls. After that, it changes so many.
Because what if Abdul Carter falls to 4 somehow? It's like, oh my God, what is happening?
Right. Yeah. So this is it for now. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We hope we go 32 for 32. That'd be funny.
I know. We could just be famous overnight. We're the draft guys.
And we'll have it recorded and everything, man. All right. So look. 2025 mock draft 1.0 annual mock draft.
Only 0.0.
Only 0.0.
Put that in the title.
Only 0.0 mock draft for 2025 officially in the books. The next time we will see you guys will be the NFL
Thursday.
draft. Will be Thursday. All right. We're excited. We've been doing a lot of prepping. Look, if this is your guys' first, draft content that you're coming in on the channel, you're in luck because we got so much draft content on this channel, guys. We got almost every single position group rankings, quarterbacks, running backs, and it's extensive work. Okay. We rank them all the way 1 through 5, but we really watch film on about 10 to 15 guys in the position group. We talk about almost all the top guys. So look, if
easily over 100 players.
Yeah.
Easily over 100, yeah. I'd reckon.
Yeah, so if you guys are into evaluating draft prospects and ceiling, floor, comps, all that good stuff, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Check out our videos. We got some great content for you guys. And we'll be having just more, okay? We'll be having grades as usual after the draft. We'll be having raw reactions during the draft. We'll post some clips for you guys, for the people who miss out on the live stream. So stay tuned, all right? Make sure to like this video. Comment down below. What do you guys think? All right. What picks do you think?
What pick did we get wrong?
Yeah.
What picks did we get wrong? What did we get
we're
right?
gonna hear that, Max.
Yeah. Comment your favorite team, who you want to see them pick. And again, from me, from the bottom of my heart, we really appreciate you guys tuning in. We always get some channel growth during this time. The views are up. We just need some subscribers to get up, and you guys are killing it. Please stop by, comment. Tell us how big of idiots we are. We know. I know. I didn't play football at college level. I know I'm an idiot. I know. Juan knows too.
We both know. Okay, we've heard it all. We still don't care. Okay, we're still gonna do this.
Don't care. I don't care. Still don't care.
But until next time, we are out. All right. Peace.
Big dreams, everything ain't what it seems. Glittering gold both ways. Not on my team. This organic, we don't buy.